Hey, what's up everyone? It's me, Cameron, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how this YouTube channel got me my full-time job offer. So, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, this upcoming summer I will be joining KPMG in their New York City office, working in consulting. I could not be more excited for this role. It really is just an amazing opportunity with a great company in the city of my dreams, and I am thrilled. But anyway, aside from that tangent, I think the interview process with KPMG for this role was somewhat unique for me. My final round of interviews with KPMG actually was scheduled for, I think, 30 minutes after I had just finished a 4-hour-long super day for one of the investment banking roles I was applying for. So it was definitely a very hectic day when this interview was going on, and I had a lot of other things going on in my life besides the interviews as well. But anyway, in this video, I'm just going to tell a quick story of how I think that this YouTube channel really did help me a lot in getting that job offer. So fortunately with KPMG, it was just two, I believe, 30-minute behavioral interviews. This was definitely really nice after coming off of a long super day full of technical investment banking questions. My brain was definitely, firing on all cylinders. I could have answered any technical question that came my way, but it was definitely refreshing to get questions just kind of about myself and my resume, instead of asking me to walk through a DCF model and how depreciation expense goes through all the financial statements. So the main reason I feel that this YouTube channel helped me get the job offer comes from the first interview that I had during this final round of interviews. The conversation at this point had already been going really well. Like I said, I was already kind of in the zone of interviews, so I was able to walk through my resume and introduce myself really well. And I think at this point I had already had a few other behavioral questions that I felt I had answered pretty well based off my various experiences both on campus and with internships. But finally, the interviewer came to one specific question that I'm sure kind of trips up a lot of people, and honestly did trip me up at the beginning. Now, I don't know if this is the exact verbiage of how the question was worded or not, since now at this point it's been a few months, but the question was to describe a time you came up with a creative solution to an age-old problem in your life. Now, obviously, after hearing that at first glance, it sounds extremely daunting. I don't know how many of us are really coming up with creative solutions to traditional problems that we experience. I don't really know the perfect or the typical answer that KPMG looks for with this question. Maybe it's building an Excel model that helps efficiency by X%, or using Google Docs for team projects. Something like that that's not creative or unique, I'm sure is probably just the typical response. But for myself, I went a different route. So at first when I got this question, I definitely did give myself a moment to think. I think this is a really important part of answering interview questions. I know it's talked about a lot with McKinsey interviews. They really look for the person they're interviewing to say, can you give me a moment? Because that shows that you are thinking through your response and you're not just coming up with something right on the fly. So I tried to implement this into my response here, but it wasn't even just an act. I definitely did need a second to think about it. But I finally came to the conclusion that the way that I film videos leading up to exams could work with this question. So a traditional problem in my life, and I'm sure the lives of a lot of other people my age, is having motivation and discipline to study for exams in college. Especially during finals week when it's just one exam on top of another, it can definitely be a lot. But one of the things that I've implemented into my own life is that when I have an exam coming up that I know is really big and that I need to study for hours on end leading up to it, I often try to make a YouTube video documenting my study process. I think the first time I did this was my sophomore year, and I'm sure I've made several similar videos each semester up to now in my senior spring at UF. So the way that this is a creative solution to a traditional problem is that filming this YouTube video, this documentation of my studying process, takes my mind away from the monotony of studying for a really hard exam like accounting or finance. But at the same time, by having this creative outlet and by filming this video, I'm also still holding myself accountable. Because obviously, if I'm filming a video talking about how I'm studying 50 hours for an exam, it's gonna be pretty embarrassing if I get the results back and I have to share with the viewers that I got a 70%. So this was definitely the case in my own life. I always tried my absolute hardest to perform well on these exams because I knew at the end of the video, I'd say, hey, by the way, I got this grade. And I definitely always wanted it to be an A and not anything lower. As I said before, and it honestly goes without saying, but exams are an extremely stressful time in our college lives. Oftentimes, this is the only grade that we have for a class, so it's really important that you perform well, and it really can dictate your GPA, which dictates the internships that you get, which dictates the job you get, which dictates your entire life moving forward. So could definitely be a little bit stressful. But I found that for myself, I've always done a lot better with stress when I have some sort of creative outlet. So anyway, I explained kind of this whole concept to the interviewer, and obviously by doing this, I had to say that I had a YouTube channel. He instantly seemed pretty engaged in what I was saying. I think it's obviously a pretty unique response. I don't think too many people make YouTube videos in the first place, let alone videos about them studying leading up to exams. So I could tell he was kind of caught off guard by my response to the question, but fortunately for me, he seemed really interested in learning more about not just what the YouTube videos were, but my channel in general. So as I was talking through my idea, it really aligned with the question even more than I had initially thought. Again, I'm sure for a lot of us, we struggle with being distracted by our phones. And so by filming these videos, a lot of the times I would have a time lapse going. And in order to film a time lapse, I need my phone. So often I would put my phone away on this tripod, a few feet away from my desk, recording me doing my work on my iPad or my laptop. So not only does this create a really cool time lapse video of me studying, but it also keeps my phone away from me and keeps me distraction free. So the combination of staying distraction free from my phone, relieving stress that is common for exams, and also giving myself a creative outlet in a world that is so analytical and numbers driven like finance is. I think all of these things really showed how effective my creative solution of filming vlogs really is to all those problems I just mentioned. So after I said all of this, I honestly was kind of impressed just by myself that I had come up with that after 5 seconds of taking a moment. But fortunately, like I said, the interviewer was really interested in understanding what my videos kind of looked like. So from there, I explained to him that, again, a lot of the times there would be a time lapse of me doing my work with maybe a screen recording of my iPad in the corner, working through the problems. I, walked through kind of exactly what the videos would look like, and the interviewer seemed like really interested by those videos. From there, he asked what other videos I made on my channel, and I explained to him just normal vlogs here on campus, and also just videos talking about my experience both here at UF and for applying for internships and full-time jobs. I definitely made sure to express to him that no, my videos aren't like Jake Paul or anything like that. It's definitely very value focused, and I try to be as professional as possible. But I think that conversation really just added to the legitimacy of my YouTube channel. So it was really good and important for me to kind of explain that no, this is kind of a side hustle, a passion project for me to share value with others, but also create a lot of value in my own life because it's a creative outlook for me to relieve some stress, not just during exam time, but just throughout my life in general. So, I mean, this whole conversation probably went for, let's say, 8 minutes. And in a 30-minute conversation, that's a lot of time. So it was really cool to kind of have just that back and forth conversation with the interviewer. I think it, like I said, was definitely unexpected for him, for the person to respond in a way that I did. Also, it just felt really nice and fulfilling for myself to have someone I'm talking to be interested in something that I spend so much time doing. And I just remember leaving that interview feeling not just good about my response to that question, but kind of to the whole conversation. I think my answer to this question definitely allowed me to stand out from a lot of other candidates. And like I said, this was just the first interview of 2 interviews on that day. The second interview, I felt, again, went really well. Pretty typical behavioral questions that I thought I answered to the best of my abilities, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that it's an extremely nerve-wracking process, and obviously, it could have gone either way, get the job, don't get the job. So I was extremely thrilled when a week later I was given the phone call and was told that I got the offer. So that's the story of how I feel that this YouTube channel really helped me get my full-time job. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different than some of my other ones just because it's me kind of sharing a story with you, but I hope that you can kind of see the value in it and just be entertained through my experiences. Like I said before, it really was just such a good feeling for someone to be interested in something that I have put so much effort into over these years. I really am so excited to see the trajectory of my channel over the last few months, and I can't wait to see where we go in the future. I'm sure this experience is not the last time my YouTube channel will help me in my career, and I really look forward to implementing the things I've learned through this whole process into my career and life. With all this being said, if you guys have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here at Galbraith. Also, as always, subscribe to The Morning Brew for the best daily business news, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.